Good morning, everyone. We have had
Afternoon, Carol.
afternoon, whatever time it is. Yeah, I just now fixed my lunch. I should know what time of day it is, but I don't.
I think it's cocktail o'clock. We've got Mercury retrograde. We have like all sorts of communication stuff. I think
somewhere.
if you're able to have a cocktail, it might be a good time to go pour one and enjoy this conversation, because these women are on fire. They're on fire in the best possible way.
Oh, well, guys, Holly and Barbara and I've been chatting. Yeah, it has been so much fun already this morning, but we've got a great show for you this afternoon. See, my brain got that stuck in it.
You're stuck in the morning.
Yeah. You got to change the Post-it color. It's the afternoon. You got to move from yellow to blue.
Well, see, the thing is, I'm hoping to have more hours in my day. Maybe that's why I'm thinking it's still morning. But anyway, we have a great guest on here today. Her name is Holly, and we're going to talk about, there may be some surprises up for you. We're always about the second half of life, but when does it really start? And when do you need to start preparing for it? There's lots to be unpacked here, but I'm Carol Henderson with Life by Design, and I've got my wonderful co-host here with Miss Barbara Ellison.
Hi, yeah, I'm Barbara Ellison of the Wellness Playroom. And you know what? Where wellness is about more than just not being sick. It's about being the best ever version of you. And that's what we're going to be talking about a little bit today. And just the fun things. And just beforehand, we were, just chit-chatting about what we were going to chit-chat about, all that kind of things. And, and sometimes one of the things that I said to a friend of mine the other day about aging, I said, I have gotten to the age where if somebody has an issue with something that I'm doing, then it's their issue. It's not mine.
Well,
and that has been so freeing.
When we were young, we worried about what people were thinking about.
What's so-and-so going to say?
It wasn't any of our business. And number two, we've come to the time in our life when we realize it really doesn't mean it. It's all beans.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it can still hurt. I think the most fascinating part of coming to, let's call somewhere in the middle, right? Somewhere in the middle of your life is value. What is your value? And, when we're younger, we're hungry for approval. And hopefully you've outgrown some of that need of the constant pat on the back or the gold stars from other people. Also, as women who are aging, right? Like we get judged on our appearance so much more than men do. And so where's the value in aging for us in, not having a Botox forehead or, whatever? Where are our standards and what's important to us? What I really love about being firmly in the middle is I have all of these years, decades of experience, but I'm still curious. I'm still open to change and learning more. And like we were chit-chatting before, redefining relationships on our terms, right? We're not about to get remarried or married or stay in our marriage and have children. That's not what we're looking for right now. We want to know how partnership is going to be. How do I want to show up in this thing? What do I still want to do? And then you get to make changes. That's the beautiful part.
Well, and the thing is, at any age of life, you can still have that curiosity. I think that's one thing that Barbara and I have maintained is, we still look for adventure. In fact, she has an acronym that we've talked about on our shows before. It's called SENIOR. So Barbara, tell us what SENIOR stands for. She even got us t-shirts and jackets.
Yeah, Carol and I are seniors. We're successful, energetic, no nonsense, inspired, outrageous rebels looking for our next adventure. And that is what my mission in life is, to just really connect with people who are getting older, who don't want to just go by the status quo, just to do the normal everything. And just before we started too, I shared a story about odd socks. I was brought, so I'm going to tell on myself. I was brought up in a very traditional, regimented, structured, and I don't blame my mother because that's how she was brought up. That you did laundry on Monday, you did this on Tuesday, you did your laundry on Monday, you did ironing on Tuesday, you did this on Wednesday, this on Thursday.
Grocery shopping was Wednesday.
Grocery shopping was
It's
Wednesday.
Monday. It's on Monday.
You know, and there was a day for everything, and her life was very structured. And so on laundry day, we always had to sort our socks, and we had to make sure all of our socks matched. You know, that was just the way it was. So all of our socks matched. Well, probably maybe last summer, one day, all my grandchildren, we all lived together. And one day Matilda came down with 2 completely different socks on. And I said, how can we have 2 completely different socks on? She says, well, those were the only 2 left in the drawer, because they take all their socks and throw them in one drawer and pick out 2 to wear on any given day. And there was me with everything had to match. Yeah. Sock. And then of course I had an odd sock drawer. Silliness.
They stayed in there until the mate turned up.
And they stayed there
Sometimes
until
a
the
year
mate
or
turned
2 or 3 later, they're still
Here.
sitting in that drawer.
Exactly. And so one day it was like, Barbara, this is silliness. So I started to I said, well, I'm going to take after the kids. I threw all my socks in one drawer. I did that for a couple of weeks and couldn't stand the untidiness of it. But from that, I don't care if I have odd socks. I put, as long as they're the same type and size, I'll put like, I won't wear a knee sock with a no-show, you know, that kind of stuff. But now if I have pink socks on and blue socks, and I don't care. But I have to tell you, the first time that I did it and walked out of my house, I'm in sneakers. Nobody could see that I had on odd socks.
Well, at least you weren't in sandals with socks.
And it wasn't in sandals. The thing was, I felt like such a rebel. I am absolutely, I'm breaking the rules. It was like, I'm breaking the rules. Everybody's going to know that I have 2 odd socks on. Nobody could see that I had odd socks.
I love it.
Nobody cared.
And then I realized nobody cares. And so then it was absolutely such a freeing. And that's what we need in our lives. Set yourself free from the expectations of other people.
Wait, I can jump on the sock thing. I have a saying. It's one of my Holly's healing tips, that life's too short to wear uncomfortable bras or be in uncomfortable relationships. So talk about freeing. I regularly go through that bra drawer. I'm like, oh, you know, that's expensive. Bras are a lot of money, but you know, those things wear out funny and you get poked. Or something sagging in a way you don't want, or suddenly you feel this. I was like, I just threw out 3 this weekend. It's freeing, literally, right? Like, you know, you don't need to be in a relationship that restricts you or pinches you or makes you be something you're not, pushed up, pushed down, I don't know, left, right, whatever is your thing. But like, you really need to be comfortable in your own skin and be around people who are that. And yes, it is sad when sometimes long-term relationships or what you thought was a really new, great relationship, friendship in your life comes and you're like, oh, wait, this isn't really what I thought it was. It's okay to be sad when it ends or process that, to be like, what signal did I miss? Or why did that come to me right now? That's also part of this, right? Like, we're still here having an experience of life. And so we want those things. I just started taking Korean lessons. Talk about something that's kicking my butt. It is,
why?
Yeah, way. That's why in Korean, way. Because when the pandemic began and the world was horrible and the world is pretty angry and the worst voices get the most attention and everyone would think that everyone hates each other and wants to kill each other. Like, that is what's like all being told to us over and over. Like, that's the matrix, right? So I've always watched foreign programming, and it was the beginning of the pandemic. And I, like, as an empath and an intuitive, I could feel all the fear and all that stuff. It was just overwhelming me. I was like, where can I escape? I am a huge fan of historical fiction. So a Korean historical fiction drama popped up, and I watched. And then I haven't stopped watching. I think it's 4 years. And the language and the culture fascinated me. And I realized that I had never really learned anything about Asian cultures except like really surface level things. Like I knew a little bit of anime. I knew a little bit about Japan. I really only know like the Great Wall of China. Like it was so limited. It was almost embarrassing. And so for me, it opened up a door of learning that had never been open before. And I was like, well, what is the traditional clothes were like so different and I was like, oh, it's a humbuck. And what is the got, which is the hat, and what is it made of? And what do the colors mean? And like, I just was like, let me discover everything. And now I'm slightly obsessed. Actually, I went to a K-pop concert this weekend with my daughter, and it's just happy. It just brings me joy. Like, there's all sorts of things that they depict. So they're not all just like happy go lucky, but it was not of my world. And there was just so much to appreciate and learn. And so since I watch so much and I really want to go talk about adventuresome, that's my plan in the fall. I can hear the words, but I didn't know what they were meaning. And I have a pretty good ear for language. And I was like, what's the holdup? So I signed up for a class, and you have to upload videos. And I can practice in my car. I can annoy my family and practice as I walk around the house. And then the minute I hit the video button, I get so self-conscious that I was like, you know what? I'm going to upload the 2 worst videos of me doing the alphabet, because how else am I going to get better? Right? Because my whole thing is like my book's behind me. It says real, not perfect. Like, this is me learning. And it takes me a little longer to process. Like my class is tonight, it's 3 hours. It's intense. It takes me like 2 days after the class for everything to kind of seep into my mind. But I'm like, I love a challenge. So my goal is to
So
get a little more
where in
comfortable.
where in Korea are you going?
I'm going to go to Seoul, Gyeongju, Nami Island, and Busan.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that is just so amazing, Holly, because I think that's where so often seniors or even people that are coming up to middle age, they say, oh, well, there's nothing out there. There is so much. I hear that. Oh, what are you going to do today? Oh, nothing.
Like,
I hear it all the time. What do you mean you're not going to do anything? Go learn something. Go meet someone. Go
Help.
do
sit
something.
with yourself. Just sit with yourself, but don't sit on the sofa eating bonbons and watching soap operas.
Exactly.
Some people also hide in being busy, right? I bet these people who are
Yes.
like busy taking care of family, busy taking
Right.
care, busy, because they can't deal with whatever emotional thing is going on, or they get validation. Remember that thing that we started with? And they're defined that way. They're
Right.
defined by helping others, but you're more than that. You're more than what you do for other people.
Well,
Right.
and when I had the modeling agency, I really thrived on stress.
Mm.
And I thought how busy I was a badge of honor. And I'm like, no. But I actually, we were on with another girl and told my story of soul when I went there. So yeah, it's a great place. But something one of my moms and models that had been there, they say, you can't go get in a taxi and say, I want to go to the such and such. You can't do that because they don't know where it is.
Yes.
And
No, you have to know. And there's a million
how to tell them to
apps.
get there.
Mm-hmm.
And this model and I, we got there and got moved into, well, they took us by the agency. So I kind of saw the building of the agency. Then they took us to the apartment and we go down, we're going to walk around. Well, she kept saying, yeah, it's right over there. It's right over there. Well, it's these towering buildings and, a lot of it looks the same. I didn't realize that she didn't have eyeballs on our apartment. So we're wandering around and we ate and and the thing is it's morning. We'd flown overnight. And so then we realized we didn't know how to get back. We did not know how to get back to our apartment. And no one was at the agency for us to talk to. And it was before the days where you carried a cell phone and people could find you. So anyway, we went into the police station. Well, that was an adventure. We went into the police station. It was on this major crossroad. Of course, the police were wonderful, but my model had on a Texas Aggies t-shirt. And all of a sudden, all these policemen are standing, just not touching her yet, but just standing like right here around us. And one of them started rubbing her arm up and down, not a sexual thing or anything, but just rubbing her arm up and down, going, Texas, Texas, Texas. And she's going, and she just says, Carol, and she's not moving her own. She says, I said, it's okay. He's saying Texas.
Yeah.
Just a class that we're from Texas. She'd not traveled internationally before, and that's one thing. You say Texas, or they want you to talk for them, or they just because you say Ohio. Nobody in other countries knows or cares about Ohio, but everybody knows Texas. Everybody can pick the map out of a puzzle piece. But anyway, so we walked out, and the police could not tell us how to get where we needed to go. So
yeah, you definitely have to, like, nowadays there's apps, there's just like so much. I think I traveled Europe with not even any of the forethought. I'm coming into this. It's going to be just fine. Actually, I'm going to do a tour, and I've been like researching the ones so I could be around people who have similar interests doing the same things.
Yeah.
And it's just an adventure. And in my relationship with my husband, he's like, go do it, go have fun, because this is like your dream. It's my dream, right? It's my dream to go there. And I was talking to my girlfriend the other day, because we've known people recently who have passed, right? And she's like, you don't know how many days you have. Why are we putting off what we want anymore?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, we walked out and I saw the Burger King, and I'm like, I remember that when we drove by. And so we went down that street, and there was the agency. We walked in there going, where have y'all been? We couldn't find you anywhere. We did not know where you were. They were panicking and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's some of the adventure, some of the fun. The downside is being responsible for a teenager, and you're in that situation. It's more than just if it's just you. But yeah, go have that adventure. Go grow. And so tell us, Holly, how do people get a hold of you?
Sure. My website is hollyhughesintuitive.com. I'm that on social media as well. Instagram, I'm the most active. And I always share tips and information just for some easy self-care, because people are like, I think it's a really overused word, right? Self-care. But there's so many aspects to it. And once you start, you're not going to give it up. You won't give it up, because it's going to make your life better.
Well, even in the Bible, it says, love your neighbor as yourself. Well, if you don't love yourself, you can't do much on loving your neighbor. So, it's even a scriptural basis to take care of you, and, to put your oxygen mask on first.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, no one else can drink from an empty cup.
No.
And so it is so prevalent. Yeah, fill up first. But having the adventure, it's like, get out of your comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah, don't be the one in charge. Experience what it feels like to be a minority somewhere. It'll change your perspective. Just that bit.
It truly will. In fact, I go overseas and I think, American coming through here, American coming through here, because that is how so many people perceive the world. And, of course, I can get on my soapbox. If you're going to live here and you're going to live here for many years, learn the language. We should not have to have driver's licenses and signs and stuff in other languages. English is the language of the United States, even though Texas has a little bit of a twang. Okay. But, you know, if you move to France, they're not going to learn English just for you. They're not going to print your stuff in English. The same thing with Korea. Korea's a real trip. I mean, at least in Hong Kong, you have the bobbies that
Mhm.
they'll have a little red flag under their badge number, and you know that one speaks English. Now, English, maybe not Texan. But anyway, you know, but you can't expect the whole world to cater to you.
Yeah, it's good to go someplace and show respect, like respect the culture there. So every time I've traveled, even when I was younger, I was always very welcomed, and I had an ear for language. I was fluent in Spanish for a while because I had a couple of roommates from South America. So even when I was in Spain and it's a different Spanish, like I could understand more than I could speak, but I could get along just fine. And then French and then Italian, like when you just kind of roam about, when I was lucky enough to do that, you know, before jobs and all of that other fun stuff, if you just show up and don't act so crass, right? Just
Exactly.
like observe a little, learn the custom, right? Like I'm going to Korea. I know, how do you say hello? How do you say goodbye? How are you polite? It's a very patriarchal, it's very about age and who is older. And like, it doesn't take that much effort to learn, and you might enjoy it. You might discover a passion for something you hadn't known before. And that could lead to art you didn't know about before, music you didn't know about before, food. I mean, it just goes on and on. It will expand your world.
Yes, yes.
And that's all. I think that's really what aging is about. Expand your world. Your world does not have to shrink because you
And so many people let that happen.
they let it happen.
Yeah.
No, it should
They
be going
live within their four walls, right? When there's just so much world, so much
Yeah.
world.
Yes, yes.
Exactly.
I just had my class reunion, and there was a girl who didn't show up just because she didn't want to get out of the house.
Mhm.
And there were multiple ones like that, but this one had been involved in the past, and then after the shutdown, she just kind of pulled in and
Yeah.
hadn't pulled out yet. Her sister came.
Yeah.
Anyway, so guys, this has been fun. Once again, Holly, tell them how to get a hold of you.
Sure. HollyHughesIntuitive.com, and on Instagram, Holly Hughes Intuitive as well.
Okay. Well,
Perfect.
guys, thank you so much for coming on, for being with us today. We really appreciate it. Be sure to like, share on Facebook and on YouTube. It's Mavens of Motivation. And please like, subscribe, and ring the bell so that you will know when we put up new content. So thank you so much. Bye.
See you next time. Have a great one. Bye-bye.